Good morning, Knicks Nation. Today is Thursday. It is the third day of March 2022. I hope you and your family are safe and healthy today. I hope that the needs of you and your family in terms of food, shelter, clothing, as well as health are being met. Blessings upon those that work in the healthcare field and those that are the first responders whose jobs every day is to risk their lives to save lives. Blessings also upon those that work in picking up garbage for us to keep streets and sidewalks and highways clean and disease free, and those that make deliveries for our convenience. Double blessings on the men and women trying to help rescue, deliver, recover the victims of child molestation, the victims of pedophilia, the victims of pornography and child pornography, the victims of prostitution and child prostitution, sex slavery, human trafficking, and double curses upon the perpetrators, the profiteers, and the perverts who traffic in this human misery. Finally, blessings upon the homeless today. Nearly 600,000 men, women, and most importantly, children that are on the streets of the United States and millions around the world in similar or worse conditions. Blessings upon them also, for theirs is the kingdom. There was a basketball game last night, and of course, the New York Knicks lost, and they have lost 19 of their last 22 games. They have lost 19 of their last 22. Changes have been made in terms of personnel, in terms of lineups. They are now playing Cam Reddish regular minutes. I think we've all noticed now how R.J. Barrett is now the focal point of the offense. He's actually recently, in the last, I'd say, 2 games, started giving Jericho Sims rotation minutes. Last night, we saw also Obi Toppin play 15 minutes. And again, I mentioned Cam Reddish. He played 23 minutes. So it looks like he's starting to not expand, but play young players. So you have, again, RJ, Sims, Toppin, Reddish getting minutes. And of course, quickly played 20 minutes as well. But so it's like you made changes. You're still losing. And there's one change you haven't made. Everybody on planet Earth that watches the Knicks see the change that you haven't made. And then last night, after the game, he said, look, if you were to look at the losses, especially the last 19 losses, and you listen to the press conference, it's like you're hearing the same thing over and over and over again. It's monotonous, which means it's more than routine. It's boringly routine. It's old. We're hearing the same thing. We got outplayed in X quarter. We got to do better. We got to look at the film. We got to improve every day. They have lost 19 of 22 games. He was asked about the point guard situation. We're playing the best. They're the best that we have, he said, about Emmanuel Quickly and Alec Burks. It's like he's the only one on planet Earth that doesn't understand these are not point guards. And in saying they're the best we have, he is completely ignoring and dissing Miles McBride, who is averaging 29 points and 10 assists a game in the G League. Something is going on. And last night when he said that, he lost me. He lost me with that one. Because in the beginning, if you guys you might not remember, but in the beginning of the season, there were a couple of things that were being discussed about the upcoming season and some of the changes that would be made. one of those things, if you remember, the Knicks wanted to put up more 3-point shots. That was the goal. They wanted to put up 30 3-point shots a game. And, just to score more, I guess the emphasis was going to be on more scoring. They shot 28 threes last night, so they were trying to do that. But if you also recall, we wanted to get, because all of the upper echelon teams generally do at least 25, 30 assists a game. Like if you were to look at the Golden State Warriors as, let's call them the gold standard. But if you were to look at the Golden State Warriors, I'm just looking at their last game. I don't even know. Okay, so their last game, let's see here. Let me look at this full schedule. Just looking at, and this is the first time I'm seeing, so I don't even know. I'm just looking at it here. Their last game, they lost to Minnesota Timberwolves, 124-114 on the 1st of March. As a team, they had 26 assists. And that's pretty typical. We were trying to get 25 to 30 assists a game. Last night, the Knicks had 20 assists. And it's aight. It's not great. But, and the thing is that the assists that the Knicks are getting are coming from Julius Randle and RJ Barrett. That's the assists they're getting are coming from these two guys. They're not getting, consistent assists from their point guard situation. On top of that, they're getting broken down by opposing teams' point guards. Now, last night, again, they had James Harden being covered by RJ Barrett. And I'd say RJ did this is the second time, he did a good a job as you could do on James Harden. James Harden had 26. He had 9 rebounds, 9 assists. That's James Harden. He played 36 minutes, probably plus 9. RJ played 40 minutes. He had 6 rebounds, 7 assists. He was minus 11. It was a battle. And he played James Harden about as good as you're going to play James Harden. Okay? So you're thinking to yourself, you got this defensive kid from West Virginia that you asked them to draft. In order to get repetitions, he's going to the G League and he's easily manhandling the G League from the point guard spot. And you have 2 guys playing point guard that are not only not point guards, they're not doing a great job. Last night, Burks had 4 assists. And you know what? For Burks, that's a lot, right? Because you've been getting 1 assist, 2 assists, 0 assists. And it's a shame we look at 4 and say, oh, wow, he did better. Last night, Harden had 9 assists. He was their point guard. He had 9 assists. They had Maxey playing off guard, and he had 3 assists. As a team, they had 24 assists. And they didn't even do good last night. My point is, Thibodeau, for some reason, either it's a willful blindness or it's a stubbornness, that he refuses to see the issues he's having at the point guard spot. He refuses to see it or acknowledge that he has them. That's not good. That's not good. Now, I remember, and I'm sticking to my guns, I said before the All-Star break, they had 5 games of this crap before changes were going to be made, and you were going to see Deuce McBride. That's 4 losses now. The 5th one is Phoenix. Okay? Now, here's a game against Phoenix, and I'm not joking. The Knicks should win this game against Phoenix. Phoenix is now missing Devin Booker, who's in health and safety protocols. Now, I'm not sure how long. I think it's a 10-day health and safety protocol now, as opposed to what it was before. I think it's 10 days, or is it 5 days? It might even be 5 days. So he might be back. But you got no Devin Booker, you got no Chris Paul. You got both of those out. They already had Saric out. Kaminsky's not that important at this point. But you have no Devin Booker, no Chris Paul. Now, Cameron Payne apparently is available. They still have the rest of their team. Mikal Bridges, Jay Crowder, Ayton, Cam Johnson, Shamet. They have the rest of their team. But with no Devin Booker and no Chris Paul, we should beat these guys. We should. I mean, we should. No Chris Paul, no Devin Booker. We should beat these guys. Okay? But anyway, they lose. If they lose, you're going to hear from Dolan. You're going to hear from Dolan if they lose this game, because it's ridiculous, man. It's ridiculous. And the thing is that for Thibs to sit up there and say, we have the best point guards we can play, that was it right there. When he said that, I was like, what? What? Oh my God. And last night, this is why also it was ridiculous. If you watched the game, okay, so he had Quickly bringing the ball up, but Quickly, no pun intended, he was getting the ball to RJ, and RJ was initiating the offense. A couple of times RJ just brought it up. Now, some of y'all don't understand. The danger with this is you cannot have your wing be your point guard. It'll be like Alec Burks, because there's a lot of responsibilities that come with being the point guard. You can't just say, let's try Cam. I have somebody say, let's try Cam at the point guard. I'm like, what? You can't just throw people out there at the point guard. Not in the NBA. You could do it in high school. In high school, you could have your 5 guy be the point guard. You could have your 4 guy be the point guard. You could have anybody be the point guard in high school. In college, maybe. And I mean maybe on Division I big level college. Maybe. But in the NBA, no, baby. You don't flow like that. They will strip you. They will hurt you. You understand? You can't do that. It's like you got a dude that's the toughest guy in your neighborhood, right? When you're in your neighborhood, but you putting that dude to cell block C in max security, that's a big situation right there. You can't just be some little tough dude. You better be the deal. That's like the NBA. Can't do it. You're going to lose. So he has now, and instead of putting Deuce in there, he brings IQ up the floor to hand the ball to RJ to initiate the offense. RJ's really good. Really good. And he makes good decisions with the basketball. But without a point guard, you are playing 4 against 5. We were better last year. We were better with Elfrid Payton, because he would hand the ball away, but at least defensively, he was there. Defensively, he was on point. No pun intended. This year, and then when Quickly tried to play the point guard role a couple of times, all he did was dribble out the clock. We had too many 24-second violations because homie was just dribbling. This is on Thibodeau. This is on Thibodeau. Y'all know I was, and I still am, a supporter of Tom Thibodeau. I respect his basketball knowledge, his acumen, the fact that he has cut his teeth in the NBA a long time, the fact that he has paid his dues and deserves a head coaching job in the NBA. But this stubbornness and this willful ignorance on this level, oh my gosh, man. No, they better win Friday. They better go into Phoenix and win Friday. If they don't, Dolan's going to do something. I'm not even saying he might. I'm telling you, just from past experience, he's going to do something. He might already, that conversation, the second one, might already be happening. Because that was ridiculous. And to hear the same story every night, we got to go back to the film and look, we got to improve every day. Look, we talked about this. He's playing Alec Burks at the point guard. He's got Julius Randle. He's got last night he played Taj again. He put Taj in for some minutes, I guess, because it was foul trouble. Look, makes sense because you had Jericho Sims and Embiid's a handful in terms of drawing fouls, and he draws a lot of fouls, and so he was using Taj for that. But he's got Fournier, Burks, and Randall as his main pieces, right? And those are veterans, either at their prime or past their prime. They're not going to get better. That's the thing. They're not going to get better. Last year, we can now safely say Julius Randle last year was an aberration. It was not his new level. It was not his new norm. That was his career year. That was his career year last year. What we saw before with Julius Randle is what we got right now. He is what he is. Evan Fournier is what he is. He's streaky. Last night he scored 3 points. He can get you 41 or he can get you 3. That's Evan Fournier. Not great defender. High IQ ball player. That's Evan Fournier. Okay? You have also Taj, is 36 years old. Yeah? And you got Alec Burks, who is what he is. He's a wing that can sometimes handle point guard duties on a part-time basis. He is not a point guard. Alec Burks last night had 9 points, 4 assists. He had 7 boards. He had 1 steal. He was pretty good overall game. Minus 14, of course. But he was 2 for 11 and 1 for 4 from 3. He was being aggressive, but he's not a point guard. And both him and Quickly, again, were getting beat defensively on a consistent basis. Consistently. So at this point, Knicks Nation, like I said before, I ain't saying they should fire him, but if they did, I'd understand. Because he's being ridiculous right now. Those are the best we have. And you won't even consider putting this kid in the game that you pushed to draft, who's killing the G League, who has shown nothing but positivity, both in the summer league and in camp and in practice, according to your own words. I don't get it. What am I missing, Nixon? What am I missing here? I mean, I know what y'all going to say, fire Tom Thibodeau. I understand that. But am I missing something here aside from that? Am I missing something? What am I missing here? Look, think what you want about Deuce McBride. You got to at least see you have lost 19 out of 22 games. This is not about getting better every day now. You stink. You stink right now. And it's embarrassing. You have to try different things. You stink. So you've tweaked and it ain't worked. You tweaked and it ain't worked. There's one change you ain't tried yet though. One change that everybody in the world sees is the weakness, and you have not even tried it in the midst of 19 out of 22 games of losses. I can't say this is getting ugly. It's already ugly. I can't say this is getting ugly. It's already ugly. This is ugly. It's embarrassing. Yeah, this is not cool at all. So anyway, and I think most of Knicks Nation agrees with what I'm about to say. Being that you have lost 37 games out of 62, and that you have lost 19 out of your last 22 games, I think we should just play and develop all the younger players in general. So in other words, put Deuce McBride out there, regardless of what happens. You can't do any worse. Losing 19 games out of 22, you can't do any worse. Put Deuce McBride out there. I'm glad you got Jericho Sims in the lineup. Let's let Obi get some more minutes at the 4. And, we'll go from there, because you can't do any worse. You can't. You can't do any worse than what you're doing right now. You really can't. Let's get Cam Fournier's minutes. Let's let Cam, he played, it was good that he played 23 minutes last night. That's good. And he played well. Cam played well yesterday on both sides of the basketball. I'd like to see him start, especially if Grimes is out. Let's start Cam. Let's sit Fournier. Let's sit Burks. And let's see what we got with Cam starting and Deuce starting. I mean, like I said, you cannot do any worse. You cannot. You're at rock bottom right now. So, yeah, that's the next shoe to drop, I think. So let's just see what happens Friday. They better win Friday. That's all I got to say. Especially, okay, if Booker comes back by Friday, because I think he just has to pass 2 health and safety program, has to pass 2 COVID tests. If he doesn't come back, I'll give him that out. They probably will lose because Booker could play, right? He's premier. Which I think they got him in the middle of the lottery, like the late lottery. Phoenix got Booker. Amazing. But last night, just as an aside, Maxey was making IQ look really bad last night. And IQ in trying to respond was looking really bad last night. Maxey was the better player coming out of Kentucky. I think all of us saw that. I definitely saw that. I actually didn't want the Knicks to draft either of them, honestly. But if they did draft one of them, I did want Maxey. I thought IQ was a second round guy. And I did want, if I had to draft one of them, Maxey was definitely the better player. I don't think that's surprising anybody. Reason I didn't want either of them because I wanted them to get Desmond Bane. I wanted them to get Desmond Bane, who is now killing in Memphis. But I wanted them to get him. Tough, senior Duke, his shoot their lights out. I wanted him, but whatever. It was Worldwide West that pushed for IQ. And I'm not saying IQ is going to be bad. IQ is just playing out of position right now. And Thibs is messing his head up to telling him he's a point guard when he's not a point guard. He's a shooting guard off the bench. He'll play his good role next to a point guard. Just like Maxey. Maxey, really, as I saw last night, Harden is the point guard. And Maxey was playing off of Harden. And, man, this kid, what? Like I said, and Maxey's defense, man. I mean, his defenses. It was like that at Kentucky, and it's like that now. This guy's defense is off the chain good, man. He's really good on defensive end. So, yeah. Anyway, that's a side note. Quick got spanked. The Knicks didn't. They ended up losing by 15, but they were actually in the game. They were leading in the game first quarter. That was a great first quarter. And the second quarter was pretty good also. They were leading at halftime. It was close. But then, of course, they let go of the string in the third quarter, let go of the rope there, and that was it, right? Then they tried to come back in the fourth, but it's too late because of the bad third that they had. It was too late, So, yeah. McBride got 1 minute last night. Scored 3 points. He was in the game with Archer Diacomo. That's got to be demoralizing. This kid's got to be mentally strong, man, because he knows what he's doing. Everybody knows what he's doing. Yesterday, the media was talking to him because even Mark Berman, everybody was like, so how does it feel scoring 30 points a game in G League and not playing at all? And all he can say is they told me I'm a rookie and I got to wait my turn. They have lost 19 of 22 games. I think it's his turn. Y'all have a good Thursday. We will talk tomorrow, Friday, prior to the Phoenix game. Also about I put out a poll. I wanted to see what would you do to get Jabari Smith? What would you do? How much is Jabari? Because Jabari Smith, really, to me, is the best player in this draft. And again, that's a weak draft, but he's the best player in this draft. He's going to be pretty good. I know a lot of guys are on the team Chet. And that's cool. I'm very concerned with Chet's durability. Very concerned with Chet's durability. I've seen too many players skinny like him come into the league, get chewed up, that have skills. Matter of fact, a lot of y'all were high on another guy out of Gonzala, if y'all remember, named Tilly. And he was skilled. And I told y'all then he's injury prone. He's on Memphis. You don't even know why, because he hardly plays. Why? Because he's injured all the time. He's always hurt. He could play, but he's injured all the time. Okay? I'm afraid the same thing for your boy Chet. Chet got heavy skills, man. The boy is got world class skills for a 5. I'm not joking. He really is. Got the skills, man. But I'm concerned with his durability. The NBA is an 82 game season. Unless nobody plays 82 anymore, but everybody plays, the big players play 60, 70 games at least. I don't think he can hold up for 70 games. I'm just telling you. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think he can. That's why I'm on Team Jabari as far as the best player in the draft, the number 1 pick. And the reason I asked would you trade to get out of that, if whatever the Knicks, let's say the Knicks are picking 10th, right? And they offer the team their 10th pick, their 2023 Dallas pick, and then it would be another team involved because you can't dump all of that salary on one team, but you're trading Evan Fournier, Alec Burks, and Julius Randle. You trade Julius Randle. What are you getting back? You're getting a power forward. So you got Obi Toppin and whoever, and Jabari Smith. That would be your power forward rotation. Okay? That's why I asked the question. And I asked you if y'all would do it. I may do it, but I think I'd save Randle for a deal for a better player that wanted out. And what do I mean by that? If the rumors are true and Donovan Mitchell wants out at Utah, I'm going to need Julius's salary to make that work because Donovan Mitchell is making $33 million. So I'm going to need Julius's salary to make that work. So I would save Julius for that. So I guess I would change the package to one of our young players. So it would be Evan Fournier, Burks, 2 first-round picks, and some young guy. Because I think Jabari Smith, I think he's good. I think he's really good. And he's only 18, And somebody else brought up, and a lot of people, a few of y'all brought up a really good point. Why would we do that? Because Tom Thibodeau's never going to play him. And you're right. The assumption is Tom Thibodeau won't be the coach. That was my assumption. So yes, you're right about that. Why, whoever we draft, it doesn't matter if Tom is the coach because he's not going to play rookies. Imagine like your John Morant's, your Tyrese Maxey's, your Thibs, under Thibs. Imagine them not playing. Anyway. The assumption is it would be Johnny Bryant or somebody else as the head coach. They'd make this trade. They're gonna send out Evan Fournier, Burks, 2 first-round picks, a young player. I'm not even going to name the young player. It'll be some young player from our team, and then trade for Jabari Smith's for that number 1 pick. I would do it. I would do the whole thing. Fire Tom Thibodeau, start Johnny Bryant or Kenny Atkinson at coach. One of them. It would probably be Johnny Bryant because I think they brought him on board for that purpose, to be the default if Tom falls, which he is. And then trade those vets, trade a young piece, trade that, because what would we be losing really as far as draft capital? Well, the pick that we already have, but we'd just be moving up. And the Dallas pick, which we got for KP. So we'd still have our own picks going forward, plus a whole bunch of second rounders. So I would do that in a heartbeat. If they were to take that, I would do it in a heartbeat. I don't know if they would take that, but I would offer it, with a young talent and see what we can do. Because, and like I said, it might involve a third team because you're talking about $28 million of, and probably with whatever young player we have, you're talking about $30 million of contract right there, and you'd have to have a third team involved to get that. But that's what I'd be talking about. I'd do it. I'd move up to get him like that. I don't think Leon is going to do that. And the reason I don't think he's going to do that, he's very conservative. Leon is very conservative. He's not swinging for the fences on every deal. He wants to make solid deals. If it's baseball, he wants to get wood on the ball. He's a drive, he wants to hit in the alley. He's not looking for the home run every time. He wants to get on base, and he wants to, if he gets good wood on the ball, he gets double or triple. You know what I'm saying? That's what he's looking at. He's not looking at swinging for the fences every time he gets up. That's how some fans and media think, but I can see Leon doesn't do that. And that's cool. I'm good with that. So that's why he would probably not do this deal. And not only that, this is a power. The reason I'm bringing this up also is this is a power forward heavy draft. Every draft has its position where it's really good. This one is power forward. Last year, it was the wing and the point guard. This year, it's power forward. Power forward is the thing. You got a lot of good power forwards in this draft this year. Again, I like Tari. I like Tari out of LSU. Keegan Murray is good. He's pretty good. He could be really good. There's some question marks, though. We'll talk more about that. There's some question marks, but he could be really good. I'm not understanding why mocks keep having Sharp from Kentucky in the draft. Calipari all but said he told his parents he needs to come back 1 year. Because he said if he comes back next year, he'll be the number one pick. Calipari has a history of being right about these things. Like I said, I bring up Camby again because I remember when Camby was a sophomore, everybody was coming at him to leave after his sophomore season. And his family they could use that money, right? But Calipari said to him, if you are top 5, okay, go. If you're not top 5, don't go because next year you will be top 5. And he was right. And he was right. I think Camby went 3rd or 2nd overall, something like that, the year he was drafted. So he was right about that. And it made a big difference in money. So that's what he's telling Sharp's family. He just said it the other day. He said, listen, if he comes back next year, he'll be the number one pick. He should wait. I think the kid's probably going to wait. And from what I read, the Sharp family is agreeing with him. So I don't know why everybody's pushing for Sharp to leave. This is where media gets in the way, trying to get him to do something that he probably shouldn't do. And so Sharp will be that dude next year. I would wait this year. And so I don't know. There was some mock, and it was a decent mock, but they had us picking, the Knicks picking him. I hope he doesn't come out. I hope he just waits and comes out next year. And be more solid, more polished, more ready next year. And he probably would be the number one pick next year. So that's that. But yeah, I'm thinking a power forward heavy draft is a good draft if you were looking to move Julius Randle. They were going to move Julius Randle the year they got Obi in the draft. They didn't draft Obi just to pile up power forwards. They were going to trade Julius Randle. And I think Thibodeau, because Thibodeau was working with Julius that summer. He was visiting him, talking to him. He was making Julius the centerpiece before he even started his first game as a Knicks head coach. But now that we've seen what we've seen, I would not be surprised if they moved Julius this summer. And in doing that, they would get a young power forward. And in doing that, they may get off of Tom Thibodeau because, as you know, they wouldn't play the young power forward. But if you get another coach in here that's going to develop these young kids, they would play the young power forward. So that's why I brought up the question yesterday in the poll. We'll talk more about that as we get closer to the draft. But I would try to trade up and get Jabari Smith. Of all the power forwards, he's got a lot of upside, man. He's 18. He got a lot of upside. And not only the upside, but you can really see the skill level, the defense. He's got the length. I think he's got a 7-foot wingspan. All of that. So he's got the goods, man. He's pretty good. Like I say, he reminds me of Zaire Williams from last year, but I'm looking at him now. I think he's a little better than Zaire Williams. So I think he's going to be pretty good. And Zaire Williams is playing ball there for Memphis right now. So anyway, y'all have a good Thursday. Be safe. Shalom.